You guys ever like get asked to do something or like asked to go somewhere, and at first you really don't want to do it, but then you agree to it, and then you go and it's awesome?
Yep.
Yeah. That happens sometimes. We have these preconceived notions that things are going to be not that good, and then they end up being not that bad.
Or maybe actually good.
Yeah. I mean, like, take Philly, for example.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
We'll tell that story.
So we're coming home from me, Talon, and Chris were all together over the last weekend, and we're coming home from Delaware up to Jersey, and we're on I-95 going through Philly, and all of a sudden the highway decides it's just going to split, and the GPS decided not to tell me. And so, long story short, we ended up in Philly, and it was kind of like
Philly.
It was kind of like, oh fuck, we're gonna go to Philly. Like, Philly sucks. And we got in. We actually we drove. We ended up driving through the city very briefly, but we saw some cool stuff. Actually, where we were anyway was very clean. It was pretty nice. So, preconceived notion Philly is trash is maybe not entirely true. Although I will say, the last 2 days I was at Phillies game or Mets Phillies games, and some of the Phillies fans are kind of trash. No offense, some offense, but your city's pretty nice, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, to back this preconceived notion that we have of Philly, growing up in Jersey, there were some bums on the way in, but once you're in,
There were a few bums.
But once you're in, it was actually pretty nice. And, I've never been to Philly. We've grown up there. Never been. Because preconceived notion, I can't say it. There's got to be like a limit of how many times you could say that term. We're at like 8 already. But preconceived notion. Philly sucks.
Yeah, I had the same thought about Jersey before going there with you.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
Yeah,
we
100%.
got so many examples of this, right?
Just on the weekend.
Don't let someone else's opinions form your own opinions. Does that make sense? Did I say that correctly?
You got to it in a roundabout way.
Don't form your own opinions off of someone else's.
Yeah,
Boom. There we go. I got it. Yeah, because, Philly is actually kind of nice. And, Talon, what did you Google? You Googled that it was, like the fourth money city.
Oh,
money
dude,
making?
yeah. Skip this then. Yeah, apparently Philly is like the fourth highest building economy in the United States. So like that they bring in that much money, and like it's 9th in the world out of like all cities in the world of how much money it brings in. Yeah, like I didn't know that was a thing, and I remember
Philly.
yeah. Like I didn't have any preconceived notions of Philly, but like I remember us driving through it. Chris is like, "Roll down the windows. I want to smell how bad the city is." We roll down the windows, and like he's like, "It smells good." Like he's like, "It didn't smell like a city," and I was just like, "Yeah, it smells like air." Like I didn't understand that you guys had preconceived notions of like Philly of like it being a trash city or something.
Chris is weird. He goes around places when you travel somewhere new, and you're like a dog. You see him just smelling the air, and he's like,
I'll let you know how
Yeah,
good
this
this place is just by how the air is. Let me check real quick.
Do you guys see how big my nose is? Like, it's got to be
place
good
is so
for something.
organic.
Whoa.
It's just... Oh, man. All right, so
No, but,
moral...
Wait, real quick.
Ooh, okay.
I'm glad. That was one of those, like, good accidents, though, that we ended up being there. Because, like, now I'm glad that I know that Philly's not so bad. Because, honestly, one thing I do know is that the stadium in Philly for the baseball stadium is really nice. And I've never gone there because it's just simply been, like, I don't want to go to Philly. Like, I don't want to go through Philly kind of thing. So now I think next weekend I'm going to go to a Phillies game and actually get to check out the stadium, because now I'm like, preconceived notions out the window. Oh, I said it again. But now I know, like, I can get in there and it'll be a nice experience. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the moral of this episode is exactly what I said before, right? Like you go throughout your life, your parents are the number one influence as growing up, right? For me, my parents, it's not only about cities, right? But for me growing up, Philly's dirty, New York's dangerous, Chicago's crime ridden and gross. I mean, New York's kind of dangerous. So that one's kind of true. But don't let that deter you from, going
why
and
they have
experiencing
Spider-Man.
these things. And Batman. Well, it's Gotham, but it's like New York, whatever.
Yeah.
But don't let them deter you from going and experiencing these things yourself, right? You have to form your own opinions, because I know when I first got to Nebraska, I took a trip up to Chicago, and I was like, what the hell? This place is awesome. Like, it is one of my favorite cities, and had I listened to my parents, I would have never went, right? So don't let someone else form your opinions for you. You got to do that stuff yourself. That's through everything in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going to so speaking on your Philly trip, so you had this kind of like biased opinion of what it was going to be like. Did that also like affect your attitude as you were driving into the city?
Yep.
Like I can only imagine Chris.
No, not Chris. Not Chris. Chris
No,
was happy.
Randy.
Randy
was
was
happy.
pissed.
Were you mean mugging the whole way?
For a
You
little
shoulda-
bit. I was
you
mostly
shoulda
yelling
heard
at the
him, bro.
GPS.
This trash place.
I was like, dude, the whole car ride, I was like, Randy, you're pulling a real Chris right now. You need to relax, man.
Oh no. Never go full Chris.
I mean, to be fair, it did add
There's
like
the
an extra
tagline.
like 25 minutes to
It
the
did, that
drive.
sucked.
So
Yeah, but it was, you know what? It was cool. We saw Philly, and I took a video of it, and it was actually kind of nice. Yeah, it's just, like by the Philly airport and all that area, it is trash. I mean, there's no, it's pretty bad, but downtown looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Jersey, right? For example, Talon, you just saw Jersey. You just saw where me and Randy are from. What'd you think of it, bud?
Jersey is awesome. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Hey.
everyone has like that opinion because like everyone sees like, I don't know, Jersey Shore or something.
Jersey
like that. It's like,
Shore,
oh
yep.
yeah, it's like that has to be what Jersey is, or like it's similar to like just New York or something like that. But I mean, at least the parts of Jersey that we went to, and like even when we were driving through Newark and everything, like I thought it was awesome. Like I got to see like where Chris grew up and everything, and it's just like this like cool like mountain town essentially, just forests and rivers everywhere. I'm just like, so this is what Jersey's like. That's pretty neat.
I think that's part of the problem when it comes to people having bad opinions about places is, it's kind of like we talk about how on social media you only see like the good in people's lives, right? Well, I think it's kind of the other way around when it comes to going places is you only really ever see the bad, like the bad things that happen and like, the quote trash things. So it's like, Jersey Shore came out and like that was all anybody ever saw of Jersey. It was like the shore area and these people being like kind of drunk scumbags. And no holding back on the Jersey Shore cast, sorry. And then like I remember going places, we were traveling for college baseball around the time, and we'd go to a bar somewhere in South Carolina, and people would come, oh, where are you from? Oh, Jersey. And they'd go, yeah, Jersey Shore. Yeah. And we're like, no. Like not where we're from. We're not Jersey Shore. We're far from it. And I think that's part of why Jersey gets a bad rap outside of Jersey. Now, if you live in Jersey, it's a totally different story. But Jersey gets a bad rap outside of Jersey, I think, because of things like Jersey Shore and like what you actually see. And like the only time you see news from Jersey is like bad news. It's like, oh, shooting in Newark. It's like, well, as someone who's lived in Newark is not the greatest city. But there's other parts of the state that are really great, and like up where I live is really great. So I think that's a perfect example of why you just have to go and experience it for yourself, just like Chris said, because all you see is the negative. Like you don't actually get to go out and find like the positive aspects of these places.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this comes with moving away from home. We did a whole episode on that. Moving away from home, like you start to form your own opinions. You start to realize life is what you make it, and you start to realize that people's opinions don't really matter. Like what your opinion is matters, right? So you can go out and do these things and, form, like, for example, like we're not going to get into it, but like my political stance has changed. My religious stance has changed. Everything has changed since I moved away from home. And it's just like, you have to do it. And yeah, you can't take, like, for example, say you grew up in your hometown. Like, let's take little farming. This is probably a preconceived notion. Boom, tick mark, like number 15, right?
A little bias.
imagine you were born and raised in Nebraska and you never leave. What is your opinion on the rest of the world? Like, all you know is this little farm town. Oh, like if I leave this city, it's gonna be like overwhelming and I'm not gonna enjoy it, or it's dangerous out there, or like what have you, right? But you got to get out and experience it at least for yourself and see if that is true. It could be, you know, they're not always wrong, but yeah. And then another point I wanted to make was a good management technique or leadership aspect that I've learned throughout my career is you don't shit talk someone above you to people below you, correct? You guys remember this? They teach you only complain up, right? You don't complain down. And that's a good point. You know, I've done that. I've made that mistake before. So for example, you get this new kid underneath you and you say, "Man, I really hate my boss, dude. He's an asshole." Well, that guy's never even met your boss yet. And he might have a totally different opinion, but now he's going into the first meeting thinking like that guy's an asshole. And that doesn't do anyone any good, because that just creates a bad environment for everybody. That guy could, maybe you're the one who needs to be changed, but you've been stuck in that role for so long you can't realize it. And maybe that kid would be like, "Well, this guy's actually pretty nice to me. Like, have you tried talking with him or something like that?" You don't know what could happen, right?
Yeah. That's one thing I'll definitely say. In your case, actually, Chris, when you had your boss who you really didn't like, you never talked, like, just from what, you know, the conversations we had, obviously I wasn't there to witness it, but you never talked down about him to, like, your peers. Like, you talked to us about it because we're not, you know, I'm not in the Air Force, and like Jared and Talon are more like your friends at this point than coworkers, but you never talk down about that guy to like people below you. And that speaks a lot for you, because you could have easily just told everybody, "Oh, this guy's trash, you know, screw him, this and that." But instead, like, you just, you know, you took things as they were, and it was like, all right, I have to deal with this on my own. If I'm going to talk to anybody, I'm going to talk to people above him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I did, you know. And it's a healthier environment for everybody, and things get dealt with a lot better that way. Otherwise, you're just creating animosity between like everyone in your work, right? So that's never a good thing.
And so I like the point about moving somewhere new. So yeah, I mean, you know, when I grew up, I lived 18 years in the same exact place. You know, Ohio. Actually, I have an Ohio shirt on under this. But,
Ooh.
Take it off.
I moved here, and then I started to paint my own picture. And when you, like, you know, you have a preconceived notion, like attitude that, you know, changes the way you think about things and experience new things and new places. So you start to paint your own picture, and a lot of it is based off of your own personal attitude. And, you know, attitude is a big part of it, especially, you know, when I was going into the training squadron. So I changed from the operational squadron where I was deploying, I was flying, like your only job, like your job is primarily flying, whereas like at the schoolhouse, your primary job is teaching. And I was like, I don't want to go teach and not deploy. And like, you know, I'm missing out on that deployment money, that experience, that travel. So I had this bias, this attitude that wasn't productive. It wasn't good. It wasn't healthy. So then once I got to the schoolhouse and I started instructing, it took me probably about 4 months until I felt confident, until I felt proud about how I was instructing, how I was teaching. So there's another point to be made. Like, how long does it take for you to change some of these preconceived notions, particularly with like attitudes, particularly with stereotypes? Like, how long does it take? I mean, for me, it took me probably about 6 months in total to change the way I felt about going to this new job and doing this new job and teaching. And I didn't feel qualified. And I felt like, you know, we've talked about this before, where we felt like this particular squadron wasn't a fun place to go to. It was more like it was a lot more work. It wasn't fun. You don't get the enjoyment of deploying with your friends. And yeah, I mean, I had a horrible attitude going into it. Like, sure, there are a lot of positives that I could have looked at, but I didn't because I had this difficult attitude to deal with. So there's one big example for me that isn't particularly traveling. Yeah.
That's a great point, dude.
Yeah.
That was like that. You just taught me something. Something. That Jared Rumsey's back and he can have excellent
articulate my thoughts.
Yes,
somewhat.
dude. That was good. No, that's a great point. Attitude. I've never even thought of that. Yeah, your attitude is everything, right? Just like I mean, I'll bring it back to Jersey. Jersey people are high strung. So when they go somewhere, dude, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. Actually, I'm not gonna just.
I'm just.
Well, who's got other talking points?
Well, I'm really glad Jared brought that up actually. And first of all, I want to say, as far as like when you said how long does it take, I think it's very individual. I think it depends on what experiences you have so far, and also, you know, how firmly you believe something. You know, like there's like, I mean, Philly, like the whole Philly thing, just to bring that back real quick, is like, you know, I had never been to Philly, but, you know, everybody always said, oh, Philly's such a bad place and this and that. But, you know, all it took was just going in there and seeing it. I think the situation is a big part of it. Like what particularly are you talking about? Like something like going to a city, I think you can change your mind on that pretty quick. Something like going to a squadron like that might take some time, just because of what it is. Like, yeah, you're going to a city, you're visiting there to go see something. Like, you could change your mind like that, you know, snap of a finger. But when you're going to your new squadron and that's your job now, you know, it might take you a little bit longer to kind of see the forest for the trees and, like, find those good things, because you're really, like, it's really been ingrained in you that this is going to be awful. So I think it depends on the situation, and it depends on the person and their experiences.
Yeah, 100%.
To kind of bring it back around, I know Chris will love this point, but like when it comes to stereotypes is a preconceived notion, right? But how does it form? It forms, like we've talked about this before. I forget what episode it was, but our stereotypes, our bias, like all of this is formed like our whole lives as we're growing up. It's just an accumulation of external stimuli that affects your brain.
Oh, good morning, Jared Rumsey.
You got the dictionary out this morning.
And thank you. I appreciate that. Makes me feel good. I'll try not to stop pumping my ego up. But, you know, it might take, like, if you have a stereotype against a certain type of person, like, maybe it's not even your fault. It's, like, oftentimes it isn't. It's just how we're raised.
Yep.
You know, you're raised and you don't interact with a certain class of people. Or a certain religion, like you don't even interact, like you shun this type of religion away from you, like, oh, you believe in that, like I'm gonna stay away from you. And like I think stereotypes that can probably take the longest to change, because you kind of have to like immerse yourself in that culture, in that world, and that, you know, if you grew up upper class, like you've never had to worry about money at all, then you might see like the working class person, which you can argue like the working class man keeps our infrastructure going. And people don't really, like if you grew up never worrying about money, you might not even appreciate that. You might see those people as scum, like working on telephone lines and stuff. It's like they're keeping this crazy, amazing infrastructure going. But because you grew up that way, you can't really appreciate that person. So maybe you need to, like with stereotypes, immerse yourself in that culture, like move somewhere for 2 months, and just immerse yourself and change that.
It's a really interesting point, especially because I would say for me and like the jobs that I've worked, I've kind of worked on like both ends of that spectrum, where like I've worked the laborer jobs and like I'm back into a laborer job now. But when I was working for the PT place, you were working with people, it was like more of a higher education and people who were like more, you know, you worked with more wealthy people, and again your coworkers were more highly educated just because of the schooling it takes to do that kind of job. And that's nothing against the people that I work with. I work with people who are very smart, without a doubt. Like it's not all about higher education is not all about brains in a way, you know. You can be just as smart and be snowball. And here we go. Anyway, my point being is I've kind of seen both ends of that spectrum, and it's kind of interesting when you're like in the middle, and you see like the people who are on this side, and they have all their thoughts about the people on the other side, and vice versa. And it's like I'm right in the middle. I fall right in between all of them because I've done them both. And it's funny because it's like if you were to just take a day and go do like what they do or hang around them, like you would totally change your mind on those people. And it's funny because it's like it's something that would come up a lot at the physical therapy place, because a lot of times, you know, dealing with the injuries and stuff is about lifestyle changes. And, you know, I would hear them like asking these people like, oh, you got to change this, you got to change that, like change your lifestyle. And as someone who had worked in that kind of line and had been there, I know like it's not like they can't just do that. It's not that easy. But, you know, they've never done it. They've never been there. So they don't know that.
Yeah, I think two big points here. Number one, I think in order to be able to immerse yourself and do what you're talking about, an easy way to do that is just go volunteer for a day. Go volunteer, go do something. Now, do I do this myself? No. Should I? Yes. But I think it is a really good reality check to how good you have things, right? So I remember I won't say his name, but one of the guys I work with, he texted me, he was like, he was going nonstop, dude. He just got back from a flight, came in the office like super early. He must have had like 4 hours of sleep, super early, had to do like some big thing for work. And after that, he went and volunteered, and then he joined me out at the bar. I was like, what the heck, dude? Like, why would you volunteer? Like, this is me thinking, like, why would you volunteer if you're this tired? He's like, oh, it just feels good. I was like, wow, you're a good guy. So that's one way. Just immerse yourself in like someone else's life for a day, and you know, get rid of that stereotype or that preconceived notion. One more thing is, I'm forever grateful for the military for this. When you're going through the suck, like you're in it, man. You're in the middle of the suck. You're in the desert. You're in training. You're getting the shit beat out of you in training, right? Like, it doesn't matter who's on your left and who's on your right. It doesn't matter anything about them. That person is a human, and you can talk to that person, and you guys become best friends. Doesn't matter any background, anything. I'm not going to get into it, but literally anything. That person is a human being, and you become really close with that person. So everything that you've
go
learned,
through struggles with someone, then you form that brotherhood.
Yeah,
for sure.
And everything you've grown up with, any stereotype or like, I'm not gonna say it again, but you get it. Yeah, it's just out the window, and it doesn't matter. And you realize, maybe my way of thinking wasn't entirely accurate, you know. And that is probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned throughout my career.
Oh, he said the thing.
Ooh, I didn't even mean to that time. Wow.
Oh, man.
That one came organically.
Nice.
That was good.
Do you guys have any you have any books on this subject, Rumsey? I know you're a good reader. We should find some.
You know where you can find some?
Where can we find some, Randy?
If you click the link below, as we are pointing, you can get Audible free for 30 days. Click the link. It's an affiliate link, so it helps us out, as well as you get unlimited audio books. I know I've transitioned. I'm finally saying audio books instead of books on tape, as much as I hate it. You can get free audiobooks for 30 days, and then if you like it, you can subscribe to their subscription. That sounded stupid.
Subscribe to their subscription.
Yes. Their subscription service.
There you go. And
you can get unlimited audiobooks. But for now, free 30 days. Click the link down below.
Do it.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know, look up Malcolm Gladwell, maybe.
Isn't he the guy that wrote?
Names.
Oh, what's that book he just wrote? Oh,
I'm sure Jordan Peterson has some good stuff. 12 Rules for Life is probably a good book for you if you want to talk about this stuff.
I knew Jared had some. He's awake this morning. He's firing on all cylinders.
Maybe
man.
it's that Scooter's coffee.
I don't know what they put in this stuff, but pinky's up.
I could tell you what they put in that stuff. Garbage. It tastes
He's like,
terrible.
this is gross, but it's making my brain work.
It's all coagulated.
Ew, that's another big word, bro. You're killing it
Yeah.
today. I love
He's
this.
just been
Jared
straight
Rumsey.
reading the dictionary.
Is that an encyclopedia behind you? Like, what is that?
The Art of War. And
Oh my god.
Whoa.
the
That's even
Gulag
better.
Archipelago
Oh my god.
by Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
So Talon,
Yes.
Talon, we were speaking earlier, like before we got started here, and you actually had brought up another good point about we're just gonna call them PNs for now, so we don't keep saying it. You had a good point.
We all
We're all
did
like,
this.
what?
It took you all a
PNs.
second. You had a good point about PNs, where sometimes your PNs are correct, and
Yes.
then what do you do?
To be honest, I don't remember.
Like when you have a
Hi,
preconceived
Talon.
notion-
Welcome back to the conversation.
Yeah, I know, but like, what you said that we were talking about it beforehand.
No, like yeah. Before we started, we were talking about when you have like a preconceived notion and it turns out to be true.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, I
In
was-
regards to like one of the places you traveled.
Yeah, so that was like in a kind of like in a theory basis, but I mean, yeah, because the whole entire purpose of this topic is kind of like to form your own opinions and everything. But I mean, there is times that those preconceived notions, I'm not going to say PNs because that sounds weird. I'm sorry, but yeah, there's definitely going to be those situations where they do kind of turn out to be true, but you need to go into that situation with an open mind in general, because of course if you truly have this idea set like in cement when you're actually like experiencing it, I mean, of course you're going to have that bias to go point towards that direction that you're already pointing towards. So, but I mean, that doesn't mean that it might not actually be true and everything. So, I mean,
I've got a
Yeah,
good
like-
example of that.
Send it.
All right, preconceived notion. Scooters' butt. So when you go order it and you drink it, you're gonna realize like,
And you're like,
wow, this is butt.
Click the link in the bio to subscribe for audiobooks.
What?
Wow. And just like that, Jared's brain is broken.
that sounded like a pre-recorded message.
Yeah.
Like, he just like pressed a button. He's like, I don't know what to say. Click. Audiobooks.
Thumbs up this video right now if you're watching on YouTube, please.
Oh my god!
Thank you so much.
Just consider subscribing. I got one more point. Sorry, I cut you off, Talon. So I apologize. So if you would like to keep going, I will shut up right now.
Oh no, you go.
Cool. All right. Preconceived notion. You guys are home with me, and we were hungry, right? So, geez,
Capriati's.
that's one point, right?
Yes.
Preconceived notion, a good positive one. Hey guys, Capriati's is bomb. I love this sandwich shop, right? Talon, what'd you think of it? honest.
Best
Be
sandwich
honest.
I've ever had.
Woo! Oh yeah!
Damn.
Wow!
Yes.
Wow! That blew my expectations out of the water. I thought you were gonna say it's pretty good. Damn, that's a gold star.
What I need to know his opinion then on some Jersey pizza.
Yeah, Jersey pizza and bagels. Go.
Oh my gosh. So preconceived notion, Chris hypes it up all the time.
Does.
But I try to ignore it as much as possible. But he took me to this place called Paisano. Shout out right there.
Ooh.
And man, Jersey pizza is the best pizza I've ever had.
Yes!
Told you.
But
Told you.
but the cheese and everything, it's pretty greasy. So
Oh, it's
it might
greasy,
hurt-
yeah.
It's
it-
greasy,
it's
yeah.
gonna it's gonna hurt your stomach.
It's gonna wreak havoc, especially if you eat good mostly.
But it
Yeah.
was delicious.
Yes.
All right, but the second point I wanted to make was, well, thank you for saying that, Talon. That just made my day. Between you and Jared today, like my week has been made already. It's only Sunday.
Yeah. We're inflating his ego. Please
Oh,
stop.
God.
Yeah. We were home. We were hungry. Minus Capriati's. That was a good one. I asked my parents, love them to death, but I asked them, hey, what's good around here? Have you been to this Bavarian place? Like, yeah, it's not that great. I was like, well, you guys are living in Delaware the past 8 years, so let's. I don't know. I don't trust you. Let's find out for myself. I didn't listen to the preconceived notion that place was butt. I went and it was delicious.
That place was
And-
not butt at all.
No.
No.
And it was awesome. And they had like all these pastries and everything. Like I was not expecting it. I got a Reuben. It was delicious. It was sick. Number 2, I asked my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad, any coffee shops around here?" He says, "No, nothing good." Wrong. I Googled it. There's this place, House of Coffee, right in Dover, Delaware. I was like, "Huh, it's got pretty good reviews. Let's go check it out." And Jared's like, "Ooh, coffee? Coffee? Other than scooters?"
I like
Oh,
coffee.
Oh,
This isn't coffee. It's just
it's
I
butt.
don't know
Yeah,
what it is.
we've established it. It is 100% booty. But yeah, see. So we go to this coffee place. Talon and I don't think Randy was with us yet. So Talon and I went to the coffee place. Randy joined later on another day because we went back a few times. So based off that, you can tell it's pretty good. And my dad, my dad being my dad, I said, "Dad, is there any good?" And he's like, "No, it's expensive." I looked at the menu. It was like a $4 or $5 cup of coffee, like normal prices, if not cheaper than normal. I was like,
Yeah,
"Dad,
it's cheaper
what the
than
hell?
normal."
Like that's cheap." He was like, "No, it's expensive." Like, whatever, man.
It's more expensive than Wawa.
Yeah, his $1 Wawa coffee. God bless, right? But so we went to this place. It was sick, dude. Old building. Like they have this old school brick wall in like historic Dover, and there's like wood beams across the ceiling. There's cool seating. They got like acai bowl. Like, total my vibe, right in the middle of Dover, and it's the only coffee shop. I lived there for a long time, and I did not enjoy it there, so I did not go explore like I should have. I should have changed my attitude and realized, hey, let me just try to see what this place has to offer, right? Back to Jared's point. But I didn't.
Comes around.
I didn't. Turns out this place is pretty cool, and I ended up loving it. And we went back a few times, and it was just really chill. They had good outdoor seating. Coffee was pretty good. They had a honey lavender latte. Oh, that's delicious. Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. I've learned to embrace trying new things. Like, there are so many good places out there that it never hurts to try, and then you might find a new favorite place.
And even types of food too, like different, like ethnic types of food.
Ooh, I know
Another
where this is going.
example from the trip. We found an Indian place down in Delaware, and we get there and we pull up, and it's like this hole in the wall, kind of like it's like a market as well as
It was a grocery
an Indian
store.
place, and I'm kind of like, I wonder how good this is actually gonna be. That food was, I'm gonna say, maybe the best food I had while we were down there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Needed better naan, but the curry was
Yeah, the naan
great.
could have been better, but yeah, the rest of it was so good.
Yeah, Talon was like, "Hey, Chris, is it spicy down here?" I was like, "Dude, Indian food down here is an anomaly. Like, it does not exist." So I have no
we
idea.
No idea what we're getting into now.
Yeah. Turns out it was pretty good, and it was pretty spicy.
Oh, shoot.
No, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I got a medium. It got to me after a while, but I was just like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Chris,
well, the medium.
Chris
Not
tried it
bad.
and he was like dying.
I wasn't dying. Like, I could have eaten it. It's
You
just,
went to the sink and like had to like drink water straight from the tap. What are you talking about?
Yes, it was hot, but I would have eaten it. Like, I thought it was delicious.
Yeah.
I got
The
one
only reason
more,
I didn't.
one more funny one from the trip before
Okay,
we
go.
wrap up here.
Go ahead.
Talon, what was your preconceived notion about Wawa?
Oh, dude. Calling out. That's a great one. So right now, he's not here to defend himself.
Joe.
But Joe, the way that he's talked about Wawa in the past, he acts like it's like this some like holy
Time out.
relic.
You're about to offend a lot of people on the
Yeah,
East Coast.
just
So
be
we're
ready.
we're going to
Okay,
preface that. Go ahead.
Let's just be honest right now. Wawa, it's a gas station with a Subway inside. That's all it is.
It's a Casey's.
Yeah, it's a Casey's.
Oh,
That's-
my God.
And like Joe makes it seem like it was a lifestyle. He'd be like, "Yeah, wake up, I go to Wawa, I get my hoagie and everything." It's just like, man,
I
this place must
sleep.
be really.
I dream of Wawa.
Yeah, he said that he went there like every single day, and I'm just like, oh man, it must be like a Lawson's or like a Family Mart in Japan where like it's just a great convenience store. No, it's just a gas station. It's just a gas station. And I went in there. I'm just like, why? Like, even if you wanted a sandwich, like you have the
Why?
places. Yeah, like you had the Capriati's place that probably had better sandwiches. To be honest, I didn't try the Wawa sandwiches, but they look pretty gross. So just saying. I'm sorry to anyone that loves Wawa. It's just a gas station.
Your preconceived notion of Wawa is that it's great because that's all you've seen. If you go to Japan and you experience a Lawson, like that is heaven on earth. You walk inside a Lawson, your life's changed forever. Like I wanna buy stock in Lawson. Like it's that good. I have faith in that place. But hopefully you guys learned something today. We hit a lot of stuff, and this is just examples throughout. Well, we had a little bit of lifetime stuff, but more recently, like the past week, back home on vacation on the East Coast. So if 1 week can kind of knock all of these preconceived notions out of the way, think about what a year can do, or a couple years. You know, if you stop taking people's opinions to heart and you form your own opinions, maybe the world's not as bad as it seems, right? Maybe turn off the news and go experience it for yourself. The world will be a better place. I can promise you that.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys learned something. Again, if you have any input, leave a comment below. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube. My cat is in it yet again. So if you haven't seen Snow on any episode yet, you can now. He's laying right next to me. Right here. There he is. My good guy. He's a good guy. Anyway, I'm off track. Thanks for listening. Jared, take it away.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. If you're watching anywhere else, check us out on YouTube if you haven't already. It's nice to see Randy's beard and his hair.
And my beard, dude.
It's
I've
so
been off for a
glorious.
week. I've been off for a week. Look at this dirty thing.
Yeah, I don't know what Chris is doing. But hit us up on social media, links in the description, and let us know if you have any input, anything you would love us to talk about. Even if you have a question, we can talk about it anonymously, and we can tackle that situation, whatever you're going through. We've done that before, and that was really fun. So I think it would be cool to do that again. Anyways, be sure to tune in every Monday, and until next time, see ya.
See ya.
Preconceived Notions.